Because a lot of people are applauding this. I'll just say, hold your horses. Time out here. DeShaun Foster was a great college football running back, went to the NFL, got into coaching at a very young age after his 4 or 5 year stay in the NFL was over. DeShaun Foster handpicked immediately after Chip Kelly was forced out. Foster, popular player hire. I think they moved quickly because maybe it's a safe hire because he's one of their own. Maybe it's because he's a cheap hire. Maybe it's because they had to hire him to keep the roster intact so all these kids wouldn't jump ship and go into the portal. Do you know Chip Kelly did not say goodbye to his players at UCLA?
Really?
Yeah. No meeting, aftermath. What a terrible way to do this. He just left. And here's the story behind the story. Kelly was a really unpopular guy because he had no people skills. Kelly's whole life was looking at my play sheet, X's and O's, and what I can design. That he didn't care about the alumni. He didn't care about the boosters, the big cigars. Mm-hmm. He didn't care about the NIL. He abhorred the transfer portal. You know what happened? The people that fund the UCLA collective, that's what it's called, the NIL package, mm-hmm. They're called the Men of Westwood. Very impressive group. They went to either the president or the director of athletics, I was told, and they said, we are going to stop funding UCLA football if Chip Kelly stays as head coach.
Aha.
So that's the story behind the story, which is why all of a sudden Chip Kelly was interviewing with the Raiders and the Washington Commanders for the offensive coordinator's job. And then bingo, he shows up going to Columbus at Ohio State to be with Ryan Day, whom he had coached way back in the day at the University of New Hampshire. He just refused to have relationships with anybody. So the Men of Westwood are the ones that pushed this issue. And evidently UCLA said, we think we have to make a change. You have a window to go find a job somewhere else. Because UCLA was on the hook for almost $9 million buyout if they actually fired him.
Oh.
So the Men of Westwood are the ones that I was told from somebody that I trust are the ones that created this situation. So that's the latest on UCLA. And John Riley says,
well, good on those guys, for stepping up and calling them out. I mean, if you're going to be a head coach of a, Power 5 conference football program, you have to have relationships. Yeah, exactly. And it's just proof in the pudding of how he just walks out on his players and doesn't say goodbye to them because he has no relationship with the players either. So, wow, the more this comes out, the more I'm saying, yeah, good riddance, Chip Kelly. Ryan Day can have him, and we'll see how he does over there. But man, that's brutal.
Should they have hired Pete Carroll? I mean, you talk about somebody who walks in the door with charisma, energy, bring everybody together, and his heritage in the LA market, crosstown at USC. I'm not saying anything negative about DeShaun Foster, except he's never walked down this road. He's never done any of the things a head coach has to do before he gets a job. He's never done any of that. Wouldn't Pete Carroll link to the Men of Westwood and the energy in LA and his heritage, what he did with the Trojans? Would that have not been a better hire?
Well, on paper, it sounds like a great hire, but you want to bring a Trojan over to Westwood. That's a big violation of the moral code. But does he even want to play coach college? Maybe he wants to go back to the NFL.
Interesting. Didn't happen. So we'll see where this goes, but that's the story behind the story. Hey, our podcast